If you've ever spent time customizing your car, you know how easy it is to get attached to your gear. But what if I told you some of those upgrades could cost you your license in another state? Many drivers find out the hard way when crossing borders for a meetup or road trip. Today I'm sharing the 7 most surprising accessories that might be perfectly fine in your garage, but illegal just 50 miles away. Number 1. Laser jammers. You're cruising down the highway, confident behind the wheel, knowing that your sleek laser jammer is working silently, blocking every LiDAR pulse from a police gun. No alerts, no pings, no problem, or so it seems. What many drivers don't realize is that while there's no federal law banning these devices, more than a dozen states treat them as illegal interference tools. One drive across state lines can instantly turn a legal gadget into contraband. Take Nevada and California for example. A laser jammer might be perfectly fine on one side of the border, but cross into California and the same setup could earn you a citation, equipment seizure, or a hefty fine. The reason comes down to how the device works. Unlike a radar detector that simply listens for speed monitoring signals, a laser jammer actively sends beams to disrupt a police LiDAR gun's reading. That interference crosses a legal line many states refuse to tolerate. This gray area makes laser jammers one of the most precarious add-ons a driver can own. Technically advanced, but legally unpredictable. And when it comes to detection technology, some devices aren't even given that gray area. They're banned outright from the start. Number 2. Radar detectors. For many car enthusiasts, a radar detector feels like a must-have tool, a small device that promises to keep you one step ahead of a speeding ticket. Mounted neatly on the dash, it listens for police radar signals and alerts you before a patrol car can clock your speed. But while that sounds smart, the reality is far more complicated. Many drivers assume radar detectors are legal everywhere until they cross into Virginia or Washington, D.C., where even owning one can lead to a fine and police confiscation. The confusion doesn't stop there. Federal law also bans commercial drivers from using them, no matter what state they're in. Anyone operating a truck or vehicle over 10,001 pounds is automatically off limits. The reasoning is simple. Officials argue these devices encourage speeding and risky driving, giving motorists a false sense of control on the road. Even states that technically allow radar detectors still limit where you can place them. In California, for instance, having one mounted on the windshield is enough to get you pulled over for obstructing your view. So while a radar detector might feel like a clever defense, it's really a gamble, one that can backfire fast. And that gamble gets even bolder when some drivers add police-inspired gear next. Before we move on, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and like the video. Number 3. Police-style lights. Flashing red and blue strobes can look impressive, especially when mounted inside the grille or behind tinted windows. Some drivers add them for the aesthetic, while others use them to stand out at car meets or on dark roads. But those same lights cross into dangerous territory the moment they mimic police lighting patterns. Nearly every state restricts red and blue strobes exclusively for law enforcement or emergency vehicles, and turning them on while driving can trigger an immediate stop. The law goes even further with color coding. Red and blue combinations are off limits unless authorized, while amber is usually reserved for tow trucks, construction vehicles, or roadside assistance. Even white strobes on a private car can be seen as misleading if they flash in a way that resembles emergency gear. Some officers report cases where drivers turned on their lights just to move through traffic faster, behavior that quickly spiraled into impersonation charges. Across the country, fines range from a few $100s to misdemeanor offenses depending on intent. What started as an accent or novelty light can escalate into something the courts view as deliberate deception, and not every lighting upgrade is so obvious. Even softer modifications can fall outside the law. Number 4. HID and LED conversion kits. Upgrading halogen headlights with HID or LED conversion kits has become one of the most common DIY mods among drivers looking for clearer nighttime visibility. These kits promise a crisp, powerful beam that cuts further down the road, giving the illusion of safety and sophistication. But many of these aftermarket conversions violate federal lighting standards without drivers realizing it. The Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standards, FMVSS, regulates how bright and focused headlights can be. When a car's housing wasn't originally originally designed for HID or LED output. The beam pattern scatters unpredictably, sometimes blinding oncoming traffic. Here's where legality slips. Even if the bulb itself meets safety approval, installing it in a reflector assembly made for halogen changes its optical performance. That means it no longer complies with FMVSS 108 requirements, technically making the car's lighting setup illegal for road use. Several states now conduct targeted enforcement, focusing on vehicles with excessive glare or distinct blue and purple light hues. Drivers often end up with fix-it tickets or inspection failures, even if their upgrade still looks factory clean. It's a perfect example of how something brighter doesn't always mean better, especially when that brightness draws police attention. And not every visibility modification deals with beams of light. Some focus on blocking them entirely. Number 5. Window tint. Tinted windows instantly give a car a sleeker look while keeping the cabin cooler and more private. It's one of the most common upgrades drivers make after buying a new vehicle, and many shops advertise limo tint or privacy tint as an easy enhancement. But what feels like personalizing your car can cross into illegal territory fast. Each state sets its own limit on how much light must pass through the glass, known as visible light transmission or VLT. For example, a 20% tint that's totally fine in Arizona can get you stopped in New York, where front windows must allow at least 70% of light to pass through. The difference isn't about style, it's about visibility and safety. Police officers need to see inside during stops, and dark glass can hide hazards or weapons. Excessive tint also makes nighttime driving riskier, which is why states apply strict enforcement. Number 6. License plate covers. License plate covers are often marketed as clever gear to outsmart traffic cameras. Some are tinted, others use reflective coatings or prismatic layers that claim to block flashes from red light or toll cameras. A few even come in the form of sprays, promising to make your plate unreadable only when photographed. They sound like harmless protection against unfair tickets, but the law doesn't see them that way. In almost every state, anything that obscures a license plate, even a clear or lightly tinted cover, can count as an obstruction. Enforcement cameras rely on optical clarity and contrast to identify numbers quickly, so even a thin film or angled plastic distorts the reflected image. Automated license plate readers at toll booths or patrol cars often flag those as unreadable plates, and officers treat that as deliberate interference. There have been numerous cases of drivers fined hundreds of dollars for covers sold as legal or photo proof. In some cities, repeat violations can even lead to impound or misdemeanor charges. Number 7. Radio, cell phone, and GPS jammers. Signal jammers sound like convenient gadgets for modern drivers. Some claim to block unwanted radio chatter, silence nearby cell phones, or stop GPS tracking systems from logging your location. They're marketed online as privacy enhancers or tools to prevent distracted driving caused by other people's devices. But here's the reality. Unlike most car tech with state-by-state restrictions, this one's outlawed across the entire country. Federal law bans the use, sale, and even advertisement of any device that interferes with wireless signals. The reason is straightforward but serious. These jammers don't just cut out music or phone calls. They can disable 911 connections, disrupt police and ambulance communications, and interfere with aircraft navigation signals. The Federal Communications Commission takes violations seriously, and their investigations have led to massive fines. In several high-profile cases, operators who repeatedly used or sold jammers were charged sums exceeding $100,000 and faced possible criminal penalties. Out of every gadget on the road, radio and signal jammers stand alone as fully banned technology. There's no gray zone or state exemption, just total prohibition under federal law. When it comes to car modifications, the law doesn't always follow logic. It often follows geography. What's fully legal in one county can make your car illegal just a few exits away. The line between creativity and violation depends less on the gadget itself and more on your ZIP code. Many drivers find out too late that personalization sometimes equals criminalization once jurisdiction changes. Before adding new tech or heading out on a road trip, research local modification laws. A few minutes of checking regulations can save you expensive fines and a long conversation with law enforcement later.